Major League Baseball, today against the Minnesota Twins, Cleveland Guardians starter Gavin Williams struck out 11 and allowed just 2 hits in 7 scoreless innings, including striking out the side on 9 pitches in the 4th inning. He was taken out after 7 innings and 97 pitches, leading 1-0, and the Twins promptly tied the game against the Cleveland bullpen and went on to win it in 12 innings, 3-1. The Atlanta Braves hit 4 home runs in a 6-5 victory over the San Diego Padres. Right now in Toronto, the Blue Jays lead the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1 after 7 innings. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
Broadcasting live from the KGSO studios in West Wichita.
I feel more informed when I listen.
This is the Press Box on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Booyah! Let's do this thing. Happy Thursday, Wichita, here on 1410, 93.9 KGSO. In the studio, Jacob Zimmerman, Sasha Plushka. Give us a call on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. That is 316-522-1410. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Check us out. Drop your comments. Watch shows back in their entirety if you missed any portion of them. All right, 4 to 6, Monday through Friday. We get you covered in the sports world. We're going to have you covered tonight with the TBT. Once again, around 7:45, we will start our pregame show. Myself, Sasha, Coach Gary Squires, as we'll break down Connor Frankamp, Marcus Keene, the rest of the Aftershocks as they look to get it done here, wrap up this 3-game series in 2 tonight against the Enchantment New Mexico alumni. So stick with us for an 8 p.m. tip. Guys, KGSO is also going to be your home for the National Baseball Congress. The NBC World Series kicks off tonight. Our very own Andy Stats will be on the call. And due to the conflict of having the schedule with both the TBT and the NBC, we're moving tonight's game with the NBC on over to 1480 KQAM, the Big Talker. So stay tuned for that. If you want to check out the Lone Star Baseball Club and the Hutchinson Monarchs, we'll be calling Andy Stats on the phone line probably around 5:30 or so, do a guest segment with him. We'll kick off the show. We'll talk TBT. We'll talk about JHX Hoops comeback from last night against Purple Rain in the Elam Ender portion. Crazy finale. And guys, Jake Paul has an NFL dream. You roll your eyes at that. We're getting to the AFC West for our comprehensive coverage. Just about going to wrap up the week here. We have the Denver Broncos in store. Call the show 522-1410. Sasha, what is up, man?
Fired up, Jay-Z. It's going to be a big show. We're coming up, or we're starting one of the biggest weeks of the year on KGSO. You laid it out there, right? We got TBT going on. We got the NBC going on. We're the official broadcaster of both. And as soon as those two are over, it's going to be football season. So we're going into the great time of year. I'm excited for it.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. All right, I do want to start off with the comeback heard around Kansas as we are knotted up at 1-1 after last night's final. Look, guys, 84-80. The Kansas alumni storm back to defeat the K-State alumni. JHX Hoops gets it done over Purple Rain as, guys, Frank Mason as well as Zeke Mayo took over late in this game. There were points in this contest, third quarter, they're down by 14. Fourth quarter, you're down by 10, really entering the Elam Ender target score. K-State had a possession where they could have just called a timeout, I think gone up 10 when the clock stopped. Well under 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, but they kind of gave away the ball, allowed another layup, and that kind of maybe ended up being the difference late in this game as look, Purple Rain's offense went cold. I know you had a big day, a big performance at Xavier Sneed, who had 27 in this one. Xavier Sneed played all 4 years for the K-State Wildcats back from 2017 through the 2020 season, and he certainly was magnificent. You got a little bit of an effort from Michael Beasley as well, not quite what he did in Game 1, leading the team in scoring, but he had 16 points, 8 rebounds, and a nice boost off the bench from Sean Williams. But guys, the story, Frank Mason coming alive, being relentless, attacking the rim. Zeke Mayo hitting some big threes in this one. He went 3 of 9 from downtown. He finished with 15. Mason the third with 23. Billy Preston chipped in 18. And Jacob Hanna had 12. Sasha, I thought we were just going to kind of pencil in. I think this game had similar vibes throughout the first 3 quarters, where Purple Rain just kind of showing their dominance, and KU one step behind. Mario Chalmers looked a little slow out there trying to play some perimeter defense at times. But, hey, what do we know about the TBT? Expect the unexpected.
Yeah, one thing that's noteworthy about this series between Purple Rain and JHX Hoops is that they're not using Allen Fieldhouse, right? They used Washburn's home arena last night. They left Bramlage. But KU did their best, or KU alumni did their best to make it feel like Allen Fieldhouse, right? This is the type of pull the rabbit out of the hat game that you're used to KU Hoops getting at home. And they were at Lee Arena out in Topeka, Washburn's home arena, which they had some players from, and they kind of made that home court advantage felt, because they were down 14 at one point in the second half, I believe. They were down 8 going into the Elam ending. And that's a big deficit, right? The 17-5 in the Elam ending. You don't see that a lot. Purple Rain was sitting on 80 for a little while. So big performance from JHX, and it'll be fun tomorrow night back in Bramlage to see who can get the win. Through the course of 2 games, K-State has looked like maybe has more firepower. Purple Rain has. And so I think I'd favor them a little bit on Friday, especially at home. But it could go either way, that's for sure.
So, heading into this TBT, I know I said it in my pregame, one of the keys to the game for the Aftershocks was once you get under 4 minutes, you commit a foul, you stop the clock, you get a target score of 8 points out in front of your lead. Don't get a little trigger happy, right? Don't just get a little carried away and hucking up shots, going for a fancy highlight type Elam ending 3 or whatever it was. I think that was the case a little bit with K-State last night as the Purple Rain fall when they had a 10-point advantage very late into the fourth quarter. And the other side, look, you credit JHX Hoops for clamping down on defense, biting the mouthpiece, as I like to say from time to time, and really showing some guts out there. There is a noticeable switch, like like you see the trigger go off, you see the light switch flip on that defensive end, where you realize, man, from the financial investment, the time that you're spending here, coming back to Washburn and Lawrence and Manhattan, and spending this time here in the state of Kansas, reminiscing those college memories. You don't want the TBT to end in just 2 games. And I think that was starting to go to the mindset. I think that had to have been a talking point there, the huddle late for the KU alumni, as you just saw an effort change down the stretch. And they, like I said, relentless and attacking the basket there from Frank Mason.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, outside of Bramlage and really outside anywhere, KU is accustomed to kind of being big brother when it comes to basketball in this state. Obviously the reverse when it comes to football. And so they didn't want to go down without a fight, and they didn't.
And these guys got a pep talk from a wounded Bill Self out there with a cane, recovering from a knee surgery, a knee replacement. Look, I mean, you had to go out there and give it your best. You couldn't get swept 2-0 for the sake of Bill Self. So with that, let's go to the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines. You're the first to call us here on the Press Box. How are you?
Hey, Sasha and JC, this is Corey. How are y'all?
What's up, Corey?
We're great.
Hey, let's stay on that topic right there. KU and K-State's alumni, they're really good. Some of them have made the NBA, but they come back sometimes to play the TBT, JC.
Yeah, we got a few former NBA guys this time around, right? Between, I think Frank Mason had some time in the NBA, and obviously Mario Chalmers. And then on the K-State side, you've got Michael Beasley. I don't know of anyone else for sure that's had NBA time on Purple Rain, but I'm not going to guarantee there's no one else. So, yeah, it's fun to see these guys in this tournament.
I think, JC, our talent in Kansas, it's getting better. Like I told other people on the station, it's getting better, a lot better, because they're trying, some of the pro sport, soccer, they're getting so better. They're looking at the talent, where it's coming from, and everything.
Well, Corey, I think the way you really see that is on the youth level right now, because these guys are sort of the past stars, right? Yesterday's stars here, reliving the college memories. These guys, play pro overseas, but in terms of the public landscape, look, here in the state, I think it's on Friday nights in the fall, and I think on and throughout the wintertime and early spring, it's on Tuesdays, it's on Thursdays and Fridays with high school basketball. And so, look, I think you can kind of make a comparison. I definitely would say in the sport of basketball, around the country as well as here in Kansas, it seems like the skill level is taking an uptick. Guys are just getting more time in the gym from a younger age.
That number recruit you were talking about coming to Wichita State, I think we're going to get him because I think he's coming. Yeah, he's seeing what the talent coach can do, and I give Coach Miles, he's starting to gel, y'all. He's starting to get in the groove of things like he did up in Tulsa and stuff, and he's starting to get in the groove of things where it's starting to get better.
Paul Mills-Era is looking good, man. Projected to win the AAC this year in men's basketball.
Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank y'all. And everything.
We appreciate it, Corey.
Thanks, Corey.
316-522-1410. Devin, what are we reading here from you on Facebook? The TBT tourney schedule has got to be the worst. How did KU play already their second game? Devin, I have no idea why they made those guys do a back-to-back, and yet here at Wichita and the Aftershocks playing on Monday and Thursday, as well as the Enchantment from New Mexico. That feels a little bit more like a proper schedule. I have no idea why that came to be. I think you got to look at the TBT for that.
Yeah, and it could have to do with like when arenas are available, when players are who knows what all goes into it. But yeah, it's a little bit different. A couple of these series were back to backs. The Louisville Kentucky series is already over. It went 3 games, and Kentucky took care of business in the third game last night. So the schedules are a little offset, but no big deal. I think it really comes into focus when you get to these last 4 alumni teams and out of the pool play on the Vegas side, and you kind of get a quarterfinal setup. That's when, hey, it's one and done, and we know who to worry about moving forward.
How about some of these names on the other side, man? I know it hasn't been a major talking point. The focus of the TBT is the alumni squads, but you do have the non-alumni squads, and look, the Gotham City Bockers, Knipple Crew, the Mecca, Red Rose War Ready. I don't know if these players just get together and come up with a snazzy team name themselves, or if there's some sort of history there. But I believe I saw Gabe York playing for the Gotham City Bockers. He's kind of been a staple of the TBT in the last couple of years. He was the best player at Eberline Drive, who made it to the championship and lost to the Aftershocks last year. So if I had to say early, my prediction would maybe be the Gotham City Bockers end up here in Coke Arena a week or two from now. Who knows?
Yeah, and what I would say about this is there's some built-in advantages for the alumni teams in this new format, because they're guaranteed to host the final game, right? If the Aftershocks make the final game, they'll host whatever Vegas team comes through, and same for any other team on the alumni side. But there's also some built-in advantages for these teams out in Vegas, for these non-alumni teams, because this is a 64-team tournament that just went down to 14 teams, and there's a lot of guys who've played in the TBT for a long time that's teams are no longer in it, and so these 6 teams can go get whoever they want, right? They don't have to worry about, did the guy go to my school or not. The other 8 teams, the alumni teams, only have 4 open spots that can go to whoever they want. So I have to imagine there's some pretty talented guys out there that were available to these 6 teams this year. So I think whoever comes out of that Vegas side, even though they'll be playing a road game, will be a very tough out in the championship.
Let's see. Gotham City Bockers, they went up 2-1, I believe, over Davis Steel. Knipple Crew, or no, that's just the seeding here, I believe, actually. And Gabe York on Davis Steel, the Drive, instead of the Gotham City Bockers. But yeah, we'll see. We're not seeing a ton posted about the Vegas bracket there in the TBT. But hey, you keep things local here in the state of Kansas. You're gonna have either KU or K-State, JHX Hoops or Purple Rain heading to Coke Arena next week. I'm hearing maybe Monday is floated around as the target date for that. And I fully expect the Enchantment to lose to the Aftershocks tonight. And probably to be maybe not quite as lopsided of a score. I don't know if we'll get up to a 36-point lead or anything, or win by 21.
I think they'll beat them worse tonight. Like, I think they lost focus at the end of that game. It seemed really lopsided, but the final margin of 21, and with the Enchantment scoring 77 points, I don't think they scored near that many tonight. They got 40 fourth-quarter points to get up to that level. Now, maybe the Aftershocks don't score as many either, but I expect the Aftershocks to take care of business tonight.
Devin saying, ain't much posted on the TBT. The next round is one and done. Devin, that is correct. And the only two teams that had better ticket sales for the first round were, you had Louisville and you had Kentucky. But Louisville is now lost 2-1 to La Familia, the Kentucky alumni. So we're kind of hoping that Boeheim's Army, who's up 1-0 right now over Seton Hall, Syracuse over Seton Hall. We're hoping that Boeheim's Army can get it done over La Familia, so the entire Aftershocks journey can stay here and we can broadcast it all on KGSO. All right, I also wanted to mention another story going on here in the world of sports. I saw this one on Cake. Shout out to Michaela Day. Shout out to Hannah Whetstone. Look, Wichita has won a bid to host the National Intercollegiate Wheelchair Basketball Championships, man, for the 2027 year at Newman University. Guys, this is going to be pretty awesome. I don't know a ton about this story. I'm going to read further into it here. Expected to bring around $300,000 in economic impact while bringing student athletes, coaches, and fans from across the country here to Wichita. Look, I think this is awesome. And look, when you have things like the Special Olympics, right? And you have, wheelchair basketball championships, I think it's nice to kind of go out of your way and make tournaments for those who don't have the same, day-to-day experience as the rest of us, right? In wheelchair basketball, look, we see movie clips of this, we see this in TV shows. I don't know if I've ever actually watched with my own two eyes a real organized wheelchair basketball game.
Now's your chance.
I might have to go check this out, Sasha. I've always thought it's got to take a lot more strength for these guys to hoist up threes. I mean, you're always using your hands to get around with the wheelchair around the floor. You got to dribble the basketball. You got to pass the rock. I mean, look, this is pretty cool. I'm glad Wichita accepted this. This just adds to the list of the cool sporting events that maybe were unexpected that you get here in the ICT.
Yeah, it'll be fun, right? Now's your chance. Next March 16th through 20th. If you've never seen wheelchair basketball in person, everybody in Wichita can get out there. And wouldn't it be cool? Like, listen, you bring in the NCAA tournament, and there's going to be big crowds out there. There's pretty good crowds at the TBT, right? Wichita brings in a lot of things that get a lot of good crowds. Wouldn't it be cool if just all of a sudden this National Intercollegiate Wheelchair Basketball Championship had a full Newman University? If people from Wichita just went out and filled up Newman University to watch it, that would say something about the city there as well. So I hope it goes off very successfully next March 16th through 20th, and it's another event for the best sports city in America.
Right, another basketball event. You're already going to have people around that pretty much same week kind of already in the state of mind, hey, let me go check out some basketballs with these opening rounds. You're kind of used to, hey, the new format of the NCAA men's tournament. Why not get used to a new type of basketball league here with wheelchair basketball? This almost makes me want to go rent a wheelchair and put up some shots.
Some of the athletes in this, there's a quote from Nick Taylor, who's the Paralympic champion. Some of these athletes will be in the Olympics in 2028 on the Paralympic team. So, yeah, cool deal.
Olympians coming
in
here
L.A.
to Wichita.
L.A. 28.
Are they going to be able to handle
that? U.S. is they off the heels of the World Cup. In two years, the Olympics will be right here in the U.S.
Dude, the traffic's bad enough already out there. We'll see if they can handle it. I think they will. We'll be back here. We'll talk more TBT. We'll cover the Aftershock side. We'll get you all scored away. And I'm hearing some bad news from a former Chiefs player looking to recover from an injury. We'll tell you more about him next.
This segment of the Press Box is brought to you by Wichita Clear Bra, the ultimate car care and protection. Online at wichitaclearbra.com.
The Press Box on KGSO.
The TBT basketball tournament has become a staple of the sports scene in a town that soaks up everything Shocker Hoops. Your favorite men's basketball alumni like Connor Frankamp, Marcus McDuffie, and Rashard Kelly are back in this year's TBT, but double the stakes. The grand prize has moved up to $2 million for this year's tournament, and the Aftershocks have a target on their back as the defending champions. It all goes down inside Charles Koch Arena, and KGSO is your home for live play-by-play broadcasts of the Aftershocks and further coverage on our 3 local daily shows. Don't miss out this year on the TBT.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Wichita's sports leader, KGSO, is brought to you by Devon James. Devon James Injury Lawyers. Call 888-8888.
That's 888-8888.
This is Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
About to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa, my father said when I was younger, hard time free better man. You took it all away, I give it all away. Can't take my freedom, here to change the game, a better man to play. I built my kingdom, now you bow to me. You took my dreams but not my name. You'll follow me until the end. I have my kingdom.
Oh, no, we're not a music station. If you like music, though, check out Hank FM 99.7, a little classic country. Late 80s to early 2000s. They sprinkle in some other stuff from time to time as well. Hey, we'll keep it going here with the TBT after the short break. The Aftershocks in action tonight. We're trying to spread the word, 7:45 tonight. Catch our pregame coverage, man. Kind of nice doing the 3-man call with Coach Gary Squires as well. Getting you all squared away. Every detail you need to know. I know the TBT, the Aftershocks, social media pages were putting out stuff, kind of going through each Aftershock, and they kind of got to say, hey, this is what I was most recently doing, where I was at, what team I was on, what country I was in overseas, and then they showed like a little highlight after of a lot of players hitting, threes or making layups overseas. So great to see that, guys. Look, Sasha, you kind of went on a limb there. I want to expand more on this. You have the mindset that a 21-point victory against the Enchantment, we may see that get beat tonight. And look, this was an all-time high for the Aftershocks, 98 points. We do want to mention that as well. They kind of blew out their previous record, I believe, in the mid-80s. There's a real shot at 100 points tonight if this one kind of gets away from the Enchantment again.
I don't think they'll score 100, but like the reason I say that is like it felt like more of a blowout than what the final score indicated, right? You mentioned that they were up 36 at one point. I don't know if they'll ever get up 36 tonight, but what I'm saying is the final margin will be bigger than it was on Monday night, because the final margin, like a lot of basketball games end 21 points apart. Like Purple Rain won by more than 21 on the opening night with KU, and they didn't dominate by that much compared to the way that Enchantment game went. So I just think they won't let it kind of slide as much at the end this time around. They'll close it out in good fashion, and that's why I think that. Now, listen, it could be closer. I hope it's closer, or at least I think some of the fans go and want to see a competitive game, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn here. I liked the way the Aftershocks looked on Monday, and I think it's more of the same tonight.
The turnovers when this game went final, actually 14 for each squad. But at one point, I want to say the Aftershocks had a significant advantage in the turnover department as the Enchantment could not control the basketball. Either they would come up and kind of just take a your turn, my turn, 3-point shot ISO with really no progression, or they would try to drive it in and they would just lose the basketball, get plucked away. The hedges along the screens were great work for the Aftershocks, but I think there in that third and fourth quarter, especially once the Elam ending at target score was set, the Aftershocks get a little careless. So I think they'll win the turnover battle tonight. I don't know if 25 assists and 45 rebounds are replicable, but I do think maybe getting into the 90s is achievable as well. 59 points from the bench. Golly, man. QJ Peterson with 18. Corey Washington chipping in 23, the game high. And this one back on Monday night. I think the efforts will be similar from those two players. I project that those two also lead the team in scoring off the bench once again.
Yeah, listen, I think anyone, there's obviously guys, Marcus Keene, QJ Peterson, are most likely to lead the team in scoring on a given night, by my estimation. But I really think anyone on this roster is capable of leading the team in scoring. Some like Trey Wade's probably never going to lead them in scoring on a given night, but everybody can put the ball in the basket, and you don't know who's going to step up on a nightly basis. Fran Camp and Rashard Kelly hardly did anything in the first game, and it wasn't because they weren't playing well. They just kind of took a back seat because they could, the way the game was going.
Right. I think Connor Frankham, but wishing to see him have a potentially a higher usage rate tonight. Just put up 3 shots in 19 minutes. I think Rashard Kelly, odds are that he plays more than 9 minutes. He had 5 points in that time. I think Chance Jenkins individually, he was probably celebrating just as much as anyone else in that game, but he went 1 of 7, 1 of 5 from downtown, finished with 4 points, had 3 fouls, 2 turnovers. I think he's looking for a better individual performance, and I think you can bank on him having a lot better day tonight.
Yeah, I think Chance he's going to be like an energy guy for this team, right? Come in, lock down on defense, get rebounds, and if he hits shots, it's a bonus. But he's a guy that you can put on the court and you're not gonna have a fall off on defense from whoever was in front of him, and I think that's critical to have bench guys that way.
All right, we'll kind of go some early keys here for the TBT against the Enchantment here for the Aftershocks. I'm gonna say 3-point percentage is another big one. This is a team that's going to put up a lot of threes, and there is the chance, hey, maybe you have a cold night. The Shockers kind of improved their 3-point percentage as the game went along. You ultimately finished 16-42. That's 38% from downtown. That is a great clip as a team, but I think that's going to be another key. That'll be a consistent key as long as, hey, the approach, the analytical approach there from Zach Bush is to hoist up a lot from downtown. If you're the Enchantment, I think you got to kind of expand on what you found there late with Jamel Jones from New Mexico, 21 points, 8 of 11 shooting. And KJ Jenkins kind of had it going from downtown as well. He put up 11 threes. He made 6 of them.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that Jamel Jones had 19 of those points after the half, actually all in the fourth quarter, I think. And so maybe they go to him a little bit more early and often. I think as far as the Aftershocks goes, your point about the 3-point shooting makes sense. I will say, I think this team's going to shoot a lot of threes because that's the makeup of the team, right? They got small guards who do a lot of their scoring and their 3-point sharpshooters, but they do still need to make a concerted effort for the ball to touch the paint, right? So some of those threes are step in, toe the line threes that are easy to make. If they're all like Marcus Keene creating on his own off the dribble, or same for QJ Peterson, those are harder to make, right? So if the ball goes into Santos Silva and Mo Udeze and comes back out, or if you get a driver, Rashard Kelly, Marcus McDuffie, and it comes back out, those are easier threes to make, and I think that's going to be the recipe for success for the Aftershocks.
I wonder if we see a little microwave moment again from Marcus Keene as he hit 4 straight threes in about a 90-second, 120-second spurt there in the second quarter. Monday night in Coke Arena in the Aftershocks dominant win over the Enchantment there. First game in this 3-game series of the TBT. We look to close it up tonight. 16 points overall. He had 3 steals in this one. That led the squad. I think we see Marcus Keene maybe not quite with a scoring burst like that, but I think a final total of 16 points in the box score is certainly achievable. Maybe my last point here, we don't want to go too far at nauseum. We're going to be breaking this down a lot tonight, closer to 8 o'clock. But Troy Simons for the Enchantment, he went 0 for 10. And it wasn't too noticeable throughout the game, but we saw it kind of post-game and talked about it here on Tuesday morning. Look, he had 1 point in 24 minutes. I think you can bank on him having a better night. And so maybe we do have a closer contest because of him.
Yeah, potentially. Another player I'll mention for the Enchantment that we both during the game noticed that he had a big impact on the game was Petrikis.
Yep.
And it was unbeknownst to me, but he played high school basketball at Valley Center, right?
Oh, wow.
And played at Dodge City Community College, I think, and then went on. And so it's a return home for him, right? It's a return home to Wichita, and he showed off in that return, right? He had some block shots. He had 9 points. He had a bunch of rebounds. He was kind of early. Like before that fourth quarter run, he was kind of the lone bright spot along with KJ Jenkins, who had hit some threes. But other than that, nobody played well for the Enchantment. So look for him to have another good night in a homecoming affair.
Yeah, Petrikis looking pretty close to his 7-footer out there, and I think I would go out on a limb and say he will or should start over Johnny McCants as the starting center tonight for the Enchantment. So there you go, a little TBT preview before the preview 7:45 pregame tonight. I do want to what's up?
Just to clarify, he played at Valley Center 1 season at Dodge City and also 2 seasons at K-State. Petrikis. So, yeah.
Nice, man. I like it. All right, let's move to a subject you're going to like even more because, look, throughout the offseason, you were reminiscent about some former Chiefs. You were thinking about some comebacks. And, look, we got it here with L'Jarius Sneed. We need to see how that works. But the name Tyreek Hill has been buzzing around NFL circles as Tyreek Hill is still unsigned heading into the 2026 season training camp. I mean, guys, preseason, I've been seeing it on my sports calendar for a long time. We're 2 weeks away from the Cardinals and the Panthers there with a Hall of Fame game. And Tyreek Hill came out and said, look, 10 months removed from his knee dislocation, which featured multiple ligament tears, including the big one, the ACL, guys. Tyreek Hill with a quote, "I still have no power in my left leg." I gotta think, a regular timeline. Look, we're seeing guys with Mahomes who are probably on track to come back in about 10 months or less from their injury. Of course, Tyreek Hill playing a more important position when it comes to using that quick first step, right? Using the agility outside on the edge. Tyreek Hill, look, we were talking about this guy, early in his NFL career. You showed the video. You showed some of these graphics of where his high school, sprint times were finishing compared to the Rio Olympics from years back. And so, look, Tyreek Hill with his fastest days behind him, I think he's really in danger of not playing this entire season, to be honest.
Yeah, and the quotes say as much. It's worth noting that my prediction was correct, right? I said the Chiefs would bring back either L'Jarius Sneed or Tyreek Hill this season, and L'Jarius Sneed is on the roster. So Hill's kind of focusing on 2027 right now. I'll give you a couple of quotes. Tyreek Hill said, "They told me I may not be able to walk again." Yikes. The doctors were like, "Bro, we don't know what's going to happen with your future, and now look at me." So he's in a positive mindset about where he is. He's just a lot further along than what people normally are at 10 months, but not for this injury, right? He knew this, and his agent, Drew Rosenhaus, had a quote, "There's no nerve damage, no blood flow issues, no broken bones. The cartilage is fine. The goal for him is to be ready to play next season. It's only one surgical procedure. There was some concern that it might be more than one surgery, but right now everything went as well as we could have hoped for." So they're already, I'm assuming by next season he means 2027, although that could be construed a couple of different ways. But they're already kind of looking out into the future. He'll never be the same athlete that he was before, but there's a world where he can come back and be an NFL receiver again. And for him, I hope that's the case. I think, right, it's kind of like that same conversation we were having with Christian McCaffrey the other day. He's borderline Hall of Fame if he retired today, but give him a couple more years of stats and he'll be in for sure. Tyreek Hill's kind of in the same boat, right? Like he was an elite player who seems like a Hall of Famer when you say the name, but he still needs a couple more years of putting up some numbers to assure it, and so I hope he gets those years.
Not to be like too verbally graphic here with describing the Tyreek Hill video from last year, but I remember, look, if you're a sports fan, you have seen maybe hundreds of ACL tear videos, right? Like ones maybe recently on my mind, like a Kyrie Irving driving in with the Dallas Mavericks and kind of just overstepping a little bit, a bad plant, and it tears. That's typically how these videos look, right? It's not necessarily too graphic, but you can see a certain bend in the knee that is not normal. Tyreek Hill's looked kind of along the lines like it was closer to the end of the spectrum of like a Mackenzie Milton, back in 2018, the UCF quarterback, where he had it was legitimately a question. He didn't know if he was going to be able to keep his entire limb. Tyreek Hill's knee was legitimately dangling to the side of his body. I do think that takes a full season and then maybe a little bit more than your typical ACL tear.
Yeah, no, it was a serious injury, and it's probably going to be a 2-year injury instead of a 1-year injury. And you could kind of see that on the field at the time. The graphic nature, I saw it quickly, but I get squeamish just watching an ankle sprain. I hate watching injuries, so I don't go back and look at stuff. I remember when I saw the wear for Louisville in the NCAA tournament and his leg break. I hated watching that. So a little bit graphic, but hopefully he's back on a field next year.
Right. I think the Kevin Ware one with Louisville, that's one of one. I don't know if we've seen a game a game of that magnitude where a player's bone is the clearest day camera shot, bone sticking out, players reacting, the entire bench.
Luckily for me, when it happened, I was listening on the radio, so I didn't have to watch it when it happened. So I just I think saw a still shot later.
Tyreek Hill, 11,363 regular season yards in his career. Not to forget 1,212 postseason yards he's racked up. A Super Bowl under his belt back in 2019. Sasha, is Tyreek Hill a Hall of Famer? And if he's not currently, we know that voting for wide receivers is maybe the toughest, right? You got a Steve Smith. I believe you have a Torrey Holt still waiting to get in. I think this is borderline here. And if Tyreek Hill's able to come back and boost his stats, maybe an extra 1,000 or 2, I think that could maybe be the difference. So I'm wishing him a healthy, speedy return.
Yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer if he's done, right? But it would help to put up a few more yards. But you look at his peak, right? He's a 5-time first-team All-Pro. Pro Bowl every year except until the last 2. So that's 8 years in a row in the Pro Bowl. And I don't think the Hall of Fame really looks at this, but when you look at what his peers think of him as a player, he came in number 1 on the NFL's top 100 one year. Number 1 player in the entire league.
That's true.
And so at your peak, your peers thought you were the best player in the whole league regardless of position. And that was coming out of a year where he had 1,800 receiving yards, 13 touchdowns. He had 2 seasons in a row over 1,700 yards. 5 seasons. I'm not sure. But 5 seasons in a row, 4 seasons in a row over 1,200. And basically 7 seasons at 1,200 or better, except for there was one in the middle where he missed some games and had 860. So the peak of Tyreek Hill, I think, is better than some of those other guys that we mentioned, but they're going to have overall more yards and that sort of thing. So I think he's a Hall of Famer, but it probably not first ballot at this point.
Jerry Rice, folks, as good as he was, I'm not saying Tyreek Hill is better or really anywhere close, but Jerry Rice never had back-to-back 700-yard seasons. He had a lot of back-to-back 1,300, 1,400, 1,500-yard seasons, but Tyreek Hill back-to-back 1,700-yard seasons
He
for the
also
Miami Dolphins. Incredible.
made the NFL All-2010 team, which is put on by the Hall of Fame. That's a feather in his cap. So, it's back-to-back 1,700 yards is tough.
Look, and you finish sixth in MVP voting as a wide receiver. We know how tough it is. Second in offensive player of the year voting back in 2023. That's a feather to his cap. I don't know if you want to argue that's his peak. Maybe the 15-touchdown season, nearing 1,300 yards in 2020 off of a Super Bowl run on a very competitive team. That in just 15 games, that might be right there as well.
His
for
best might have been, or like when people were most scared of him might have been like 2018, which is before the Chiefs had won a Super Bowl. It was Mahomes' first year as a starter, and I remember when that first year, when 2018 was going on and Mahomes was starting, there was a lot of talk about, is Mahomes really good, or is it just all of his weapons? Are the Chiefs that good around him, right? And that was Tyreek Hill they were talking about, and obviously Travis Kelce as well. And I think that conversation's kind of gone to bed because he hasn't had that much around him for the last 4 or 5 years. But that was the talk when he first came into the league, and Tyreek Hill was a big part of that talk. 17 yards a reception that season.
Right, that's the number I was looking at, ready to say. A career best for Tyreek Hill. I would like to see Xavier Worthy sniff that. Like, I think Worthy, he needs to be the big play threat.
Man, but if you remember watching he won't. I don't think he'll sniff that, because those games were like, if they were on the 50-yard line, you could bet someone pretty much even money that they'd score in the next 4 plays. Like, I mean, they were just bombs on bombs on bombs. So it's just not the same anymore.
I want to see Worthy get close to 1,000 yards this season. He can do it with a healthy Mahomes. We'll be back. It's the Press Box.
Call the Press Box now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines at 522-1410.
The Press Box on KGSO.
KGSO is back with the second annual SC Wichita Cares for Kids, coming up August 27th and 28th. Join Wichita's sports station as we support the Children's Miracle Network. Hear their powerful stories and help support our children in Wichita. It's the second annual SC Wichita Cares for Kids, August 27th and 28th. And it's brought to you by
Truck Stuff, Jewelry Savers, Davis Liquor Outlet, the Wichita Technical Institute, the Sugar Shack, and Wichita Sports Station KGSO.
Changes in weather can make or break Kansas farms.
It's going to pick up in intensity a little bit overnight tonight.
That affects us all. That's why you need a meteorologist you can trust to give you accurate and up-to-the-minute information each and every day.
I'm Jay Prater. I know how important an accurate forecast is to you. With Cake First Alert Forecast, I'll give you precise conditions in your area, wherever you are in Cakeland.
Trust Jay Prater and Cake First Alert, your weather authority. Cake News, on your side.
Fierce coins and bullion, Kansas's premier bullion dealer.
If you want to add gold and silver bullion to your portfolio, there's no better place to go. Make sure to check out Phil's Coins online at philscoins.com. And with the largest variety of items, you'll find exactly what you're looking for. Phil's Coins and Bullion, 9344 West Central Avenue. Go check them out today.
Fierce coins and bullion, philscoins.com.
This is the Jason Smith Show.
Check this out.
Pay attention. With Mike Harmon.
The home field advantage for the United States in this World Cup is immeasurable. This is an advantage that I can't believe I didn't take enough of this into account, that this was going to be such a big deal for the United States.
You're listening to Jason Smith with Mike Harmon.
Overnights with Jason Smith here on KGSO.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, can potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Kansas knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable, It needs to be family friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Kansas Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Don't miss a minute of Wichita's sports station. Listen online anytime at kgso.com.
Hey, welcome on back. KGSO, your longest running sports talk station here in Wichita. Jacob Zimmerman, Sasha Bushka wrapping up the first hour of the press box. More to 4 to 6, Monday through Friday. Call the show, guys. 522-1410. It's been just Corey. Be like Corey, guys. Call us up. What's on your mind in the sports world? I know you got something, whether it's TBT, NBC. We've been talking Tyreek Hill there in that last segment. JHX Hoops getting a comeback over Purple Rain last night. A Game 3 has been set up back in Bramlage Coliseum. Guys, we're going to talk about 2 NFL stories here. One of them's legit. One of them is kind of a phony pipe dream, to be honest with you. But I guess you could also call it that for Diego Pavia. Yikes, guys. This guy, the 2025 season that wrapped up last fall. Look, Diego Pavia, a Heisman candidate. He was right in the running, folks. He had 29 passing touchdowns. He kind of lit the SEC at Vanderbilt with a 71% completion rate, 3,500 yards, only 8 picks. He's got to be an NFL quarterback, right? And Diego Pavia was thinking, hey, man, I'm going to roll into these, pre-draft discussions, meeting with teams like I'm Shadur Sanders, just assuming that I'm going to be a high pick in the draft. And, well, it did not go as planned. Pavia goes undrafted. And then Pavia, look, hey, maybe Baltimore is the right place to get picked up. We know Lamar Jackson seems welcoming of other quarterbacks. He's certainly not in danger of losing his starting spot. But, guys, Diego Pavia, who's 24 years old. He's a little bit older than you maybe would think. He had actually signed a 3-year deal. I got to think hardly any of that was guaranteed. And just 3 months in, Pavia has been waived. He will not even see training camp.
The fact that he didn't make it to training camp is a huge red flag, and it's a red flag for other teams too, because to me, that reeks of he couldn't keep his mouth shut still, even once he got signed as an undrafted free agent, because there was no reason for them to waive him before training camp, right? There's 90-some players on the roster, or there's 90 players on the roster going into training camp. And so I think, and they kept another undrafted rookie quarterback on the roster to compete for the third spot with Skylar Thompson, former K-State quarterback. And so out of Connecticut that nobody's ever heard of. I don't remember the name because it's not a name worth remembering. And so it says to me that he wasn't fitting in as I'm competing for the third string job like he was supposed to. And he's his mouth got him in trouble before the draft, and maybe it has continued.
I wonder if Lamar Jackson had anything to do with this move. Like, you think Diego Pavia behind closed doors, cameras off, microphones off, do you think this guy was like secretly talking trash to Lamar? Like, hey, Lamar, I'm right behind you. I'm going to steal your starting job. Like, I wonder if that was his mentality. But look, if you're the guy who comes out on Instagram, right after the Heisman ceremony where you lose, and you say, F all the voters, but family for life, and then you're at a nightclub and you somehow, pay money because you obviously had to get a little sign put up that said F Indiana because you were jealous of Fernando Mendoza. Look, dude, NFL teams are going to take that to heart. They understand it. They don't want that bad PR. They don't want their backup doing any of those kind of shenanigans when he's in the NFL, let alone a starter, for crying out loud. And Pavia, look, I think the writing was on the wall, unfortunately, man. I don't need to go after the short kings out there, but Pavia, I mean, you barely came in at like 5'8", 5'9". You were trying to pass as like 6 foot. It's a classic story. Woman will tell you all about, guys lying about their height. And Pavia, look, maybe Vanderbilt covered you a little bit, but in the NFL Combine, you couldn't wear the boosted shoes, my man.
Skip Bayless is still sold on him. He says he'll show him in Canada. So we'll see. Maybe coming to a Canadian football team near you.
Dude, Skip Bayless, man. He has done permanent damage to the psyche of millions of men, just tainting their sports opinions for years to come. Skip Bayless, he just needs to disappear. Kind of, Pavia, CFL, look, man, it maybe is a match made in heaven, kind of a goofy style game.
It's different now than it used to be, but like once upon a time, they said Doug Flutie was too short to play in the NFL, and he went to the CFL and proved he wasn't too short. And like when he came back from the CFL, he was an NFL starting quarterback, and rightfully so. I'm not saying Diego Pavia is that, and I think his problem might be as much his attitude as his height. Right. It's the combination of the two, right? It's like, okay, you're 5'8", so you're probably not going to be good anyways. We're not going to put up with an attitude, right? You need to be like the hardest worker in the room, the guy who shuts up and listens, because you're not 6'5". And so there's kind of two problems with him, and NFL teams aren't going to want to deal with
Drew Brees was undersized, but he was a great leader. Look, he wasn't involved in controversy. He was more accurate. I think sports science tested this out. He could hit a bullseye on a target better than Olympic-level archery, right? I think, look, dude, you kind of blew it.
Every short quarterback who's not super mobile like a Kyler Murray wants to be the next Drew Brees, but there's only one Drew Brees, right? Drew Brees is one of one. He's the most accurate thrower of the football in NFL history. So good luck if you think you can be that.
And Pavia, we've seen the camera strapped on at quarterbacks' foreheads. Like, he's not seeing anything behind 6'5" linemen. So, all right, let's go to the phones here, courtesy of Maximum Outdoor Equipment. You are on the press box. What's up?
That brings me to something I've had on my mind, and since you guys were talking about him getting the boot in Baltimore, and if Lamar might have something to do with that, I haven't heard a lot about the training camp fights this year, which leads to my question. Does it ever get so intense in training camp that maybe one player wishes another player was traded to another team and hope that that team is on their schedule so he could legitimately go after him? Because we see sometimes during the season the sideline altercations, whether it be player versus player, player versus coach. But does it ever get to the point or to the toxicity that a player wants another player traded so bad and hope that he's on the team that they play so he could legitimately go after him? And that's all I have, and I'd be interested to hear your comments.
Yeah, I'll start with the first thing you said, which was no training camp fights yet this year. I mean, like it's a little early for that. I don't know if anyone's started training camp yet, and if they have, they're on their first day, right? I think a few teams might have started today, and so it's a little early for that. But yeah, I'm sure there is like a 53-man locker room. You're not gonna like everybody in there, but you try to get along and be good teammates, and then if they do end up on another team someday, you can do what you want.
You remember those Mercedes Lewis videos? I think he was with the Bears, and he was just causing a lot of altercations, and Oh, he was going after guys in training camp. He was truly headhunting. He was causing legit fights. I think he got kicked out of some practices, and
that's interesting because that's a guy who lasted a long time in the league, Mercedes Lewis. Unless I got the wrong Mercedes on my mind.
I could have the wrong one too, but
yeah. He could have been maybe a high head early
maybe he
in
was
his
a
career,
different
and then
Lewis.
he lasted.
Maybe we're getting
Jamal Lewis, Jermaine Lewis.
I don't know. Who knows? You see it every year. I know Cam Newton and Josh Norman had a good one.
It's hot out there. They're practicing. There's going to be some fights every once in a while. They're playing football.
It happens a lot in high school, too. The kids just don't tell their parents about it, neither the coaches. All right, comprehensive coverage next up. AFC West, we got the Broncos. Denver Nation, stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
Spain would end it 2-0. They end up getting the win there and head on to the finals. But what I took away from this is the same thing that is applicable NFL. We just saw it happen in the NBA, and that is, man, ultimately, if you can lock in and you can play defense, you can win.
This is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
Evenings on KGSO, and find KGSO on the SC Wichita app.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And there's no one that knows that feeling like Derby Allstate agent Mark May, because he works every day to get people like you the coverage they need with the savings they deserve. Contact him for your free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
Wichita Clearbrook, your quality auto spot.
Summer is heating up, and Wichita Clearbrook can get things cooled down for you. The XPEL heat-reducing ceramic tint blocks infrared rays and keeps your car cooler all summer long. Keep your car looking fresh and make it easy to clean with ceramic coating. And don't forget to check out the Wichita Clearbrook detailing services to get the summer started with a fresh ride.
Wichita Clearbrook, your quality auto spot.
Temperatures may be climbing, but the prices are dropping at Rusty at Ford. Get $10,000 off MSRP on a 2026 F-150 XLT. Prices as low as $54,655. The F-150 STX is $9,000 off MSRP and starts as low as $42,335. Or you can save thousands and snag 4.9% for 84 months. Plus, these come with 2 years maintenance. Visit RustyAtFord.com. Simply the best place to buy. With approved credit, see dealer for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
We enjoy rivalries. We enjoy dynasties. And we need that. And I think the idea that, oh, yeah, everybody needs to win. Everybody ain't going to win. You know who won dag near the entire 60s? The Celtics. You know who won? It was dag near the Celtics or the Lakers every year in the 80s. The 90s, if Jordan doesn't leave, it might have been him in one Piston year. You know, the 90s Cowboys, because they went to 3 Super Bowls and you got familiar with who they were, and you knew the tight end, you knew the fullback. Yeah. I'm simply saying, dude, I get the sentiment. We're giving her a fair shot and we're doing this. I think it was better. I think it's even better when you have rivalries, when you have teams that are great, when you had Warriors, Cavs, and I knew I was getting ready to see LeBron. Can he have, they're going to bounce back. Oh, they won 3-1. They came back down 3. And then how they bounce back, they get KD. And these things to me make it great.
This is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
Evenings on KGSO, and find KGSO on the SC Wichita app.
Join me to rally to read 100 books.
Reading is Fundamental invites you to visit rallytoread.org today to learn about our reading campaign. Join the pledge to read 100 books. Hear your child's favorite authors read their books, and find activities to keep young readers motivated. Teachers can also enter the Rally to Read sweepstakes for a chance to win 100 books for their own school, subject to rules. Visit rallytoread.org today.
Rally to read!
This is Wichita's sports station, K230BY, 93.9 FM, 1410 AM, and 99.7 HD3. KGSO Belle Plaine, Wichita. Broadcasting live from the KGSO studios in West Wichita.
I feel more informed when I listen.
This is the Press Box on Wichita's sports station, KGSO.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Alrighty, time for hour 2 of the Press Box here on KGSO, longest running sports talk station here in Wichita. Jacob Zimmerman, Sasha Bushka here in the studio. Call us up on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines, 316-522-1410. We're going to do some comprehensive coverage. We're going to continue the series here with the Denver Broncos, as we said. If you missed hour 1, guys, you can watch it back on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. That's where we're streaming it live right now. Drop your comments anytime. We talked a lot of TBT in hour 1. We hit on JHX Hoops comeback over Purple Rain. We previewed tonight's game with the Aftershocks and the Enchantment, Wichita State alum, New Mexico and New Mexico State alum, Diego Pavia getting snipped, getting cut, guys, getting released from the Baltimore Ravens. We'll maybe get into other NFL and college football storylines. We'll chat with Andy Stats here in about 20 minutes as he's getting set up at the NBC World Series. Of course, we got the SC Wichita app. Listen to 99.7 and KFM if you like country music. We got 1480 KQM for conservative news talk, and La Raza on 102.5 FM as well. And KGSO all on the SC Wichita app in your app store. Sasha, you ready to go for hour 2?
Fired up, man. Listen, we've got comprehensive is going to get wild today. It's going to be fun, and excited to get some calls as well.
Chiefs back on Tuesday. I posted a clip on the socials from that, getting Sasha's breakdown of Mahomes and the upcoming record prediction, as well as the Chargers we had yesterday. So let's go to the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines first. How are you?
Hey, Jay-Z.
What's up, Dakota?
Do you think, I know it's doubtful, do you think the Cowboys might not make the playoff? Or
Well, if I say they're going to win the Super Bowl, I might get fired.
They're firing people for saying that?
Ryan Clark?
He got fired for saying the Cowboys were going to win the Super Bowl?
Not directly because of that, but give it, it just over your head. Anyway.
Yeah.
Dakota, I think the Cowboys, let me pull up my record prediction for Dallas. I think the Cowboys are mediocre. Sasha and I agree. You can't go 8-8 anymore, a la Jason Garrett. So I got him 8-9, and Sasha's going 9-8. So as close as you can get to mediocrity. What do you think?
I say, I know, I just say 1-15.
Oh, I love it. It's 1-16, 17 game schedule now, but
For
I
the
love
Cowboys?
it, Dakota.
Yeah, 1-.
That's
So
maybe
they
the
could get
best
that-
prediction we've got all off season.
So they could get a quarterback. Do you think
Shots fired
the
on Dak.
Manning will go to Dallas?
I think Arch would love to go to Dallas. He lives in the great state of Texas as we speak already, so yeah. I don't know.
What do you think about the Broncos, Dakota? You have a record prediction for them? Do you have them going 2-15 or 1-16, or is it flipped around?
I would say 10-7.
10-7. Maybe a slight decline from last year's record, in which you won 14 regular season games. You You lost in the conference championship. That would be a slight disappointment, I think, for certain Bronco fans. But Dakota, hey, we appreciate the call. Nice comment there on the Dallas Cowboys.
That's great, Dakota.
That ought to get some people fired up. 522-1410 if you'd like to respond, and especially for Bronco fans. We got a lot of Chiefs fans here. Red Kingdom, it's well alive in Wichita, but hey, I know maybe the next closest team out west, Broncos country. Let's ride into this thing.
Broncos country, let's ride.
I don't think I heard anyone say that last season.
I would, if I was a Broncos fan, I wouldn't say it. I'd put the Russell Wilson era in the past. I can tell you that right now.
Sean Payton came to town off of Colin Cowherd's couch back in 2023. He improved their record by 3 wins from 5 the previous season to 8. In 2024, Sean Payton wins 10 games with the squad. They lose in the wild card with Bo Nix as a rookie. And in year 2 for Nix, year 3 for Payton, this team looked like one of the best in the AFC. There was a certain point where you thought maybe the Broncos were a real Super Bowl threat, like maybe at one point the favorite. And look, the Denver Broncos in my tenure here on KGSO, I mean, this started heading into the 2024 season, Russell Wilson being, prime in my mind. And I was, kind of doing the show at a big Denver Bronco fan for the first 6 months here. And I had a lot of strong takes. I said the Denver Broncos would flop. I said Sean Payton would fail in this iteration. And I don't know if there's another NFL team I've had to eat my words with more in my time here in Wichita than the Denver Broncos. I've kind of just been a little speechless of what they've done here in this turnaround and their rise. I have them winning the division here in the AFC West this season, and you'll get my record prediction later on here in this segment. Sasha, any opening words for the Broncos?
Yeah, I'll say, I think predicting that the Broncos were going to flop was probably a mistake. Sean Payton can coach, right? I will say they were 11-2 in one-score games last year, and so we all know that can turn around on you real fast. They added Jalen Waddle, so that maybe they've got some more firepower. I wouldn't say Bo Nix is in prove-it mode, right? I think he's proven he's a competent NFL quarterback. He's a top half of the league type guy, but now he's in the prove-it mode of, can I be better than that? Can I be a top 10 quarterback? Can I be the kind of guy that you think can lead you to win a Super Bowl? And that's the next step for Bo Nix.
I got to think a 24-10 quarterback record in the first 2 seasons through 34 games is one of the best starts in NFL history.
I mean,
record-wise,
it's good. It's good. I'm sure there's other quarterbacks who've.
I know you're thinking of one.
Look that up. 44
I know you're thinking
games.
of one.
Yeah.
I
won't say it. I don't need to say it.
You got a guy up in New England as well.
Yeah.
You got Lamar in Baltimore. You got some guys with great starts in their career. Don't get me wrong. All right, 2025. Bit of a season reminder, a recap for you. This team had a iconic win. Some will argue. I was hearing J-Mac. It was either today or yesterday. He's kind of had the whole herd, that 11-2 slot here in KGSO, by the way. Talking about how Denver kind of maybe got the brighter side, the better side from the officials in that game in the divisional round compared to Buffalo. 33-30 in an overtime classic where Bo Nix threw for 279 yards. But then, guys, somehow towards the end, I don't know if it was on the kneel down or another play. I don't know if we ever got official word of what happened with Bo Nix, but then you had to roll out Jarrett Stidham, and it was such a anticlimactic way to end the season for the Broncos because, look, you won that game. The fan base is ecstatic, and then the post-game report comes out from Schefter that Nix is out. Yikes, that was devastating. You lose 10-7 in the conference championship game to New England. And look, the regular season, it was great. This team put together quite the win streak in the middle chunk of the season from weeks 4 all the way until week 16. They did not lose a game that featured, a dominant win over the Cincinnati Bengals. You beat the Philadelphia Eagles. You got past the Birds. You beat the Cowboys. You hung 44 on them. You edged out the Chiefs right before Mahomes' injury, 22-19.
Yeah, it was an impressive stretch. But if you look at those games, right, that's kind of where a lot of that one score record was built up, right? You beat Cincinnati easily, you beat Dallas easily, and Green Bay you won by 8, right, in the last game of that streak. But every other game in that streak was pretty close, right? You had 1-point games, 2-point games, 3-point games, and in like the Giants game, they were down 20 points in that game and came back and won it. And so that's a testament to them, but it's a testament to the Giants being able to throw away a lead as well. The Houston game, I think, was without C.J. Stroud, although that doesn't – or C.J. Stroud got injured during that game. It was their first game. It was the first game of his injury, so they were reeling a little bit. But 14-3, you can't argue with it, right? They played really good football last year. They won the close games, made the plays down the stretch that they had to. And I think that's the point in Bo Nix's favor is he won close games and he made the plays in the fourth quarter. But you can look at like his passing numbers during that streak. There's a lot of games under 200 yards, right? And so they weren't necessarily always winning because of him, but he made the plays when he needed to.
We head on last year's schedule. Let's look here at what's in store for the division winner in 2026. You start the year. Boy, is this a game. Arrowhead Stadium. Monday night, week 1. September 14th. I know you already got it circled on your calendar, Sasha. It gets tougher after that. You got Jacksonville. You got the Rams. You got San Francisco. You got the Chargers. You got Seattle. You got the Chiefs again before the bye. Coming out of the bye, I think there's a real opportunity to get hot here. And this is where the Broncos will, I don't want to say coast, but this is where they can let their guard down a little bit and still win. You got the Raiders twice on the other side of the bye. You got Miami. You got the Jets back-to-back. You got Pittsburgh in there. They're going to their place. I don't project the Steelers to necessarily be great this year as well. But that last 3 games, you're going to want to be in a nice spot here to have the division maybe already wrapped up. You got Buffalo, New England, and the Chargers week 16 through 18.
Yeah, listen, it's a first-place schedule, right? There's not a lot of gaps in it. Right? That little 5-week stretch you pointed out, or I'll narrow that down. Like Miami, New York, and Las Vegas, New York Jets, not Giants, 3 weeks in a row is about as easy as you could get. And so that's a nice pocket, but it's really the only one in the whole schedule, right? That where you're not playing pretty good teams at least one out of every 2 weeks. So, yeah.
If the Broncos are 500 after their first 6 weeks, which is an absolute doozy, and you got Arizona, you got a trip to Carolina as well before the bye, I think this team will be in a great spot to win this division, because I think you at least go 4-1, probably your floor there in that 5-game stretch out of the bye.
Yeah, I have them 2-4 in that first 6-game stretch, which wouldn't mean they're out of it at all, but they're going to be slight dogs at Kansas City unless Mahomes isn't playing, but that line's already kind of come out, and the Vegas likes Kansas City a little bit. They'll be favored at home against Jacksonville, but that might be the only game in the first 6 that they're favored in, except for maybe home against Seattle. We'll see once week 6 comes how both teams are doing. But they got the Rams at San Fran, at Los Angeles. They're going to be dogs in all those games. So 3-3 would be a good spot to be after those first 6 weeks for sure.
All right, let's take a gander at the roster. Let's look at the depth chart here. Jalen Waddle. That's who you model your game after, youngsters. Look, this guy, I don't think he's seen the ceiling that he's hoped in his NFL career, and there's a lot of meat left on the bone, in my opinion, for Jalen Waddle. He's kind of regressed in a lot of wide receiver lists, rankings since 2022. I think heading into 2023, he was a popular pick, right, with Tyreek Hill to maybe go for 1,500 yards. Look, you can't really do 2 guys at once. That electric at the same time with Tua Tagovailoa as your quarterback. But look, 1,356 yards. You led the league in yards per reception, 18.1, a true deep ball threat. I think he can run the rest of the route tree as well. We're talking about a guy who, since that moment, though, has missed a few games here or there. Not too much, not missing half a seasons or anything, but has not come close to that 1,300-yard season from 4 years back.
He's a guy, like, if you pay attention to fantasy, right, you look at his last 3 years, he's played 14, 15, and 16 games, which doesn't sound bad, but he comes out in the middle of a lot of games. Like, he'll start the game, he'll come out, and you'll wonder if he's going to play the next week. He'll be questionable, and then he'll play, and he'll come out in the middle. Like, there's injury concerns there for sure, durability concerns. But he's a really good player, right? And I honestly, I was a little like happy when you said you model your game after him. I thought you meant I modeled my game after him, and I would agree with that. That's who I model my game after as an athlete. But his targets have gone way down in those 3 seasons as well. Since his rookie year, he got 140 targets. And then it went to 117, 104, 83. So he's consistently gone down in targets. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's Tua missing games, not having as much chemistry with Tua, more going to Tyreek Hill. Whatever it is, his most targets by far were his rookie year, and he had 104 catches that year. So I wonder if that number will tick back up the other way with a change of scenery.
You would agree that he's the best roster in the Denver wide receiver room. It's maybe a little close. You got to respect Courtland Sutton, but I think Waddle's the most talented.
I think he's their best player in the receiver room. Obviously, Bo Nix will already have the familiarity with Courtland Sutton, and Sutton's been kind of like boom or bust type of guy. Like, he's had some days for fantasy, but then there's times where they just don't target him the whole game. I think Waddle kind of puts everybody else in their place that they want to be, though, right? If Waddle's your number 1, then Sutton can be a great 2.
Yep.
And guys like Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims Jr. Can settle into like deep ball threats and whatever role that the Broncos want to put him in.
I think aside from maybe the Rams, you look at offense and defense as a whole, the Broncos feel like one of the most well-rounded teams in the NFL. Right? Like, I think roster-wise, I think even coaching, you talk about certain teams, the strength is in the offensive side, maybe like a Lions. You talk about the Houston Texans and their defense. This team feels like they have an A grade, A- grade in both categories.
Yeah, maybe. I think the biggest question mark with this team on offense in the past was the receiver room, right? And so they did something to help with that by getting Jalen Waddle. But I think their biggest question mark on offense right now is, right, to be an A offense, even an A- offense, you got to get really good quarterback play. And I think Bo Nix could deliver that. But I'm still like, I'm not putting him in the category with some of these other teams that have like a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson at quarterback. And so I think that downgrades them a little bit on that side of the ball.
Maybe a B+.
But their defense was really good last year. And unlike some of these other teams that had really good defenses, they did not lose their coordinator. I believe it's still Vance Joseph. And so that's helpful for them. And I don't know if they lost either coordinator this offseason, which when you're a good team, when you go 14-3, oh, no, they did. Davis Webb's coming in as the OC, but it doesn't really matter because it's Sean Payton's offense. But the fact that Vance Joseph is still there, that's helpful for them. I think they'll be good on defense. It's just, can they – I think the question mark with the Broncos is mostly, do they win the close games at the same rate they did last year?
Let's go to the defense. I'll head on running back here because I think that's an X factor in a moment. But I think we just kind of need to give these players what they deserve. Pat Surtain, best corner in the NFL? He's in the discussion, man. You got Sauce Gardner, you got a J.C. Horn, you got some good ones there in the NFC as well. Look, I think Pat Surtain is a A-list corner in this league. And look, you pair him with Riley Moss, man. Riley Moss, maybe not visually looking like the rest of the corners in the league, if you know what I'm saying, but Riley Moss can lock down as well.
He's good, but
we were talking about Hufanga.
Riley Moss gets picked on, right? Because nobody wants to throw at Surtain, and so they throw at him a lot, right? And he makes plays, right? If you watch a Broncos game, you're going to see Riley Moss on the broadcast a lot, good or bad, right? He's either breaking up a pass or giving up a bomb, but he does a pretty decent job. And Pat Surtain is a great man coverage corner, right? Which it fits with the Broncos scheme. So yeah, he's a good player.
maybe the most important player on this defense, though. And I don't know if he's yet like a household name. Nick Bonito.
Yeah.
Has been all over the floor.
He got a household contract this offseason.
He's been all over the field. I mean, this guy has racked up a ton of tackles in his career through 4 seasons so far. He's been an All-Pro each of the last 2 seasons. He was 4th in Defensive Player of the Year voting just last season. And look, he had 13.5 sacks in 2024. He had 14 sacks in 2025. He can drop back a little bit as well. He can rush off the edge, listed as an outside linebacker. And he is really the strength of his defense, along with Zach Allen. I've got a buddy named Zach Allen. I always joke with him when I see Zach Allen of the Denver Broncos get a sack or whatnot. Zach Allen, he was All-Pro first team last season. Can't forget about him.
Yeah, they have players on all 3 levels, and they got a lot of sacks last season, and that goes hand in hand with having a good front 7 and also not a bad secondary, so they can get coverage sacks too, right? If the secondary locks it down. So their defense will be something to be reckoned with. Obviously, just like everyone else, you have to avoid injuries. But Broncos, they've kind of been, that's kind of been their side of the ball for a while now, right? In terms of what you look at as the strength of their team. Even when they won their last Super Bowl with Peyton Manning, it was a defensive Super Bowl with Von Miller. And ever since then, I've kind of looked at the Broncos as they got a better defense than they do offense, and they're trying to even that up. And Sean Payton goes a long way in evening that up, obviously.
All right, last group I want to hit on here. It's the running backs. J.K. Dobbins is your number 1. That worries me just a little bit, guys.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins is one of the best stories, running backs wise, in NFL history, because look, this guy came into the league as a backup for Baltimore. He only started 1 game his rookie season. He was extremely effective. He had 800 yards as a rookie. You love to see that on 134 attempts. And then he missed an entire season. And then he missed a half season. And then he played 1 game in 2023. But since then, he's played in 23 games. And he's been pretty consistent. He's able to give you 70 yards per contest, kind of on average here. He was able to find the red zone 9 times, the end zone, in 2024. And look, that was for the Chargers. He had a decent season last year for Denver. I think R.J. Harvey, though, inevitably is going to be the guy you kind of trust more, not only in the passing game, because that's not really Dobbins' strength, but I think postseason time, you kind of need to almost have the approach that R.J. Harvey is probably just about as good as J.K. Dobbins, but you want J.K. to kind of go through the wear and tear of the regular season and maybe save who I think is going to be your best back for what is proved to be the most valuable time of the season, January and February.
I don't know, like, the thing I'd worry about with their situation, right? J.K. Dobbins has torn both Achilles in his career. That's why he missed that full season and then later missed the half season. And or 2023, he tore his Achilles week 1. He played 1 game and then came back for 2024. So he's gone through the ringer. What I worry about with this running back room is if J.K. Dobbins goes down. I know R.J. Harvey is a good back. I don't see him as a bell cow, give him 30 touches type back, and neither are their other guys. Neither is Jaleel McLaughlin. But if everybody stays healthy, right, the 4 guys they have, I don't know much about Jonah Coleman, but those other 3 guys have all gotten time in the Broncos system, and they're all effective players.
Bo Nix, man. I think Bo Nix is pretty decent. I don't think he is like an elite quarterback, but he's certainly top 16 in the league. It is really tough once you actually start naming out 16 names. Here's a strength that you won't hear too often with Bo Nix, right? He has a pretty decent completion percentage, but he's doing it at the same time with a very low sack percentage. Look, if you're a guy who's taking 2-3 more sacks per game, you got an issue. Bo Nix, through 34 games, has only taken 46 regular season sacks. Like, that's a great number. And so he is mature. He understands, hey, rather than take a drive-ending sack here or make a bad decision trying to rush a throw, he tosses it out of bounds. He tosses it into the dirt near a receiver. He's a mature. He's showing his age in a good way.
He is, and he is a mature. But what I would look at with that is he'll be 26 this season, and so that's not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But his rookie year he was 24. What you worry about, it's the same thing they talk about with Tyler Shuck, is like, I know he's only in his third year as a quarterback, but have we already seen the peak of Bo Nix? Like, he came in with a ton of college starts, and if we have seen the peak, that doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. But he might not have the accelerated improvement like we've seen with Caleb Williams from year 1 to year 2, because he was already pretty polished coming in.
My X factor is the running back room. What's yours for the Broncos?
Yeah, I'll go with guy I mentioned earlier. I'll go with Courtland Sutton, right? If he can have a consistent season and be a compliment to Jalen Waddle, the Broncos, sky's the limit for their offense.
My record prediction. Keep in mind, I got the Chiefs at 10-7. I got the Chargers at 9-8. I got the Broncos 11-6, winning the division. Okay. What do you think?
So we're not that far off. I don't have them winning the division. I have them going 10-7. And that's mostly a schedule play, right? It's like I do this with every team, but I look at their schedule up and down and pick what's going to be a win and what's going to be a loss. And I just see a lot of tough games on there. I didn't pick them to lose every tough game, but I think they're going to lose enough. 10-7 is borderline playoffs. And so I think they'll make it, but obviously I picked the Chiefs to go 12-5, so we had that flipped, and almost flipped on the records. But you had one less win for the Broncos than I had for the Chiefs.
It's the running back room kind of holding me back. Maybe Bo Nix is a little dinged up here or there, but it's Sean Payton and an elite defense and a game manager type quarterback who doesn't lose to the football game. I think they'll win 11 games. I think their schedule's easier than the Chargers.
Yeah, I'll say this. I don't know exactly who wins the division, but I don't think 11 games is enough to win it. One of those teams will do better.
This segment of the Press Box is brought to you by Wichita Clear Bra, the ultimate car care and protection. Online at wichitaclearbra.com.
The Press Box on KGSO.
This is Stu Gatz and Company live.
The audience wants this.
You're listening to Stu Gatz and Company live.
The New York Yankees, they have now had 2 games where they struck out 17 times.
It's happened 11 times in franchise history. It's happened back-to-back nights now at this point.
Yes, but they won one of them.
They just strike out so much. The offense is just lifeless.
Stu Gatz and Company live.
Stu Gatz and Company, weekdays at 2 p.m. on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app.
Fire sale at the Black Friday Deals and Discount Store on 47th and Broadway. Truckloads of brand new items from Amazon, Walmart, and Target. But for just $10, nearly everything in the store is on sale for just $10 Friday and $7 on Saturday. Electronics like controllers, laptops, headphones, just $10. Name brand clothing and shoes, Stanley Cups, accessories, all kinds of household items, just $10. Come check out the brand new Ashley furniture for discount price. 120 days same as cash, $5 down. So don't break your budget and shop today at the Black Friday Deals and Discount Store.
Looking for a new-to-you ride? For over 70 years, customers have trusted Rusty Egg Ford with quality vehicles and exceptional service. We have 500 used cars available with 150 Ford Blue Advantage certified. From fuel-efficient cars to tough trucks and versatile SUVs, you'll find quality, value, and selection all in one place. That's peace of mind with every mile. Buy with confidence at Rusty Egg Ford. Visit rustyeggford.com. Family owned and simply the best place to buy. See dealer for details.
Warmer weather is finally here, and that means cookouts,
ball games,
and maybe enjoying some time on the water.
But it also means lots of heavy food, sweets, and maybe an extra adult beverage or two. Thank goodness we both take Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All the things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted natural natural ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes. Just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Active Liver helps us enjoy the good things in life with peace of mind that our liver isn't working overtime. Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. And you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Wichita's sports leader, KGSO, is brought to you by Devon James. Devon James Injury Lawyers. Call 888-8888.
That's 888-8888.
Wichita owned. Wichita proud. This is KGSO.
We're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get. 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 We're up all night to get lucky. 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 We're up all night to get lucky.
Alrighty, folks, welcome on back to the press box. KGSO 1410. 93.9, KGSO.com, the SC Wichita app. Been talking some Denver Broncos in our comprehensive coverage series there in the last segment. Gonna bring in a guest. I know he's getting set up right now at Wichita State. Ready to broadcast a little baseball in the NBC World Series. Do we have the numbers guy, Andy Stats? Are you with us, Andy?
How about now? Can you hear me now?
There we go. Now we
got you, dude.
That's better.
Much
better.
What's the view like, man? I don't know if this is your first time at Wichita State, seeing Tyler Field, Gene Stevenson Park. What are the views like?
I'll be honest, fellas. It is difficult for me to keep a cool head in here. I am freaking out. This is an unbelievably amazing facility. The view I have of the turf, you can see the Shocker logo down there and all the fans funneling in. This is an amazing experience, and we haven't even had first pitch yet.
Yeah, it's a nice stadium. And the crazy thing is it's been that stadium, last time it was renovated has been a while, right? That stadium was built in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was like the best college stadium in the country at that time, and it's still up there. It's a nice place.
You could definitely tell that this is the right place to host an event such as the NBC World Series because people coming far and wide, whether they've lived in Wichita and came to this tournament year after year after year, or they say this is their first one. I've gotten to talk to a lot of them, and they all say the same thing. You know, what a scene, what a beautiful day it is here in Wichita as well. I couldn't ask for a better day for a ball game.
So, Andy, I gotta start with this because we every once in a while we'll play a little Would You Rather here on the press box. We'll balance two things back and forth. And look, we're going to ask you the exact same question that we were trying to go through a week or so back, and that is if you had to be an umpire. I don't know if you've ever umpired baseball games. I think Sasha maybe has. I've never done it.
I steer clear of umpiring. I umpired a scrimmage one time in high school, like a JV scrimmage, or a lower level team scrimmage, and they needed a couple guys, so they came and got some guys off the team. I blew a call so bad in the first inning, I was like, I'm never doing this again.
Angel Bushka, there you go. Look, I think as far as the NBC, we're not going to have to do this ourselves, but the NBC staff certainly will be, as well as the Junction City Brigade and the Seattle Cheney Studs. Look, baseball around the clock. You kind of starts 12 p.m. Saturday, and then you roll through and you go all the way really till 6 p.m. with nonstop games the following Sunday as you have a 3 a.m. baseball game early Sunday morning. So, Andy Stats, the would you rather question for you. Would you rather be a umpire? It could be first base. You could be behind home plate. It's up to you. Would you rather be an umpire for a 3 a.m. baseball game or a 100-degree 12 p.m. baseball game? Take your pick.
I sweat too much. Unfortunately, I think that answer's easier than it should be for most people. I'll take that, the 3 a.m., the midnight game, whatever it is. Pound a couple energy drinks, whatever you got to do. And as long as I'm not behind home plate, because my eyesight might not be great, but, man, when somebody appeals down to me for a check swing, I'm going to give a great call. I've been working on it in the mirror, actually.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. I listen, I like the heat. And so that was a little tough. But I like the middle of the night stuff, too. And I've played – I haven't done a 3 a.m. I've played in a game at the NBC that started after midnight. So I know the feeling both ways. And I don't know. I enjoy them both.
I envy that, Sasha. I envy that. I wish I could reflect fondly upon the days when I was sweating my you-know-what off standing at second base as one of my friends on the mound was getting shelled for like 200 runs. But it's difficult for me to look back in that and give a smile. It's much more of a frown.
I've told a story on the air, and I forgot to check. Santa Barbara Foresters are kind of an NBC perennial. I don't know if they're around this year for it, but they've won it several times.
They are.
Yeah, Santa Barbara Foresters are okay. So they've won it several times. They're very good. They have a lot of D1 players, and they come year after year, and they're really good. And then I was like, after my college playing days, playing on like an old man league team here in Wichita. That was in it's like a rec league. It's guys that are adults, but you play real baseball. And the NBC needed some teams, and we won that league that year. And this is back when the NBC had like 60, 70 teams in it. And so they invited us to come play in it for winning that league. They throw us out there the first game late night against the Santa Barbara Foresters. And we lost like 20-0, but it was still a fun experience. That was the second time I had played in the NBC. The first time was a much better experience, but losing to the Foresters is a story I can talk about at least.
And you look back through their history, they went on a tear winning something like 5 of 6 NBC World Series in the late 2010s into the 2020s. And, you know, I'm glad you can reflect upon it fondly now. But I'd imagine at the time, if someone said, hey, at least you had a good experience, you probably didn't react too well to that.
Yeah, I mean, it was whatever. I was catching, too, so you're just watching them hit bombs and hit doubles all over the place. So I think I did get a hit against them, though, so I'll take that.
Blood was drawn by Sasha, folks. You heard it here first.
1480 KQAM around 6 o'clock. That's going to be the start time. Lone Star Baseball Club and Hutchinson Monarchs going head-to-head here tonight to kick off the NBC World Series. KGSO, this station will be your home throughout the next week, and some change for the NBC, but due to the TBT call tonight with the Aftershocks and the Enchantment, 1480 KQAM, the Big Talker, will be your station of choice here for listening to some collegiate baseball. I'm sure you're watching the Lone Star baseball team and Hutchinson warm up, but let's get into some other sports topics. I wanted to first ask you, Andy Stats. I'm sure you're listening along a little bit to our comprehensive coverage series with the Denver Broncos. I have them winning the AFC West as our final week of the series in the offseason that we do here in the press box. Sasha has them going 10-7. He's got the Chiefs winning the division. I have them maybe second place. How do you see the Denver Broncos season going in 2026?
Okay, all right. We have some more variety than the last time I was on and we were talking about Buffalo, which is good. I don't think that Denver is going to have the exact same season they had because there's no way that Kansas City is going to go 6-11. At the same time, that doesn't mean they're going to fully regress and essentially erase all of the progress they've made under Sean Payton. Do I think Bo Nix takes a step up and starts playing like an MVP? No, I don't. But I think he has some new weapons around him and just some new guys overall on the team. I know the defense was a mainstay for the Denver Broncos last year in that AFC West, which, of course, is going to be rough and tumble again this year. Well, except for the Raiders, but we don't need to bring them up. Apologies to all the Raiders fans in the Wichita area, but I'm a Browns fan.
There's a lot of them, actually. Yeah.
That was mean. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. They deserve it. Their team stinks.
You weren't as rude as Dakota was earlier. He called around 5 o'clock. He predicted the Cowboys to go 1-16.
Whoa. Okay. That's...
Yeah. That was shots fired by Dakota, and I commend him for it.
Yeah, that's impressive how much of a hater he is. You have to pay respect.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Here in this division, wanted to sprinkle it into the show today. We were mentioning it yesterday on Big Deal, No Big Deal. I said, look, it wasn't a big deal individually for these guys, but if this continues to be a trend moving forward where it takes 3 freaking months since draft day to get your top 4 quarterbacks in the class signed, maybe Carson Beck did yesterday, but look, Fernando Mendoza becomes official, a 4-year deal, $57.27 million. We're not going to see the Jamarcus Russell, Sam Bradford rookie scale contracts anymore because of the CBA adjustments, right? You're not going to overpay a rookie ever again quite to that degree. But it finally went down today. The 5th-year option makes him the last player from the team's 10-year player draft class to sign. Fernando Mendoza coming off of a Heisman season and a national championship winning season in Indiana. Andy, any strong takes regarding the Raiders and really all these quarterbacks taking so long to sign? This kind of feels like an epidemic. I know it's like an agent battle with the GM there on these respective franchises, but the last thing we would want to see is a rookie quarterback hold out.
And you have to put yourself in Fernando Mendoza's shoes a little bit. I know he's already got the Heisman Trophy. He's got one of the most impressive college football playoff victories ever, right? But now it's the pros. And even though he's coming in as a rookie and he has to earn his keep still, he is the number 1 pick for a franchise that, what have they done quarterback-wise other than Derek Carr? I mean, historically, when they pick quarterbacks very high, it doesn't go very well. So can you blame Fernando Mendoza for putting himself out there and trying to get what he believes he is worth? It's hard for me to blame that. Then again, the fan in me says if we're going to keep reaching these sorts of impasses between players in front offices and owners and what have you, is that going to risk us not playing football down the line? I don't know where we're at in the collective bargaining agreement. I don't know that full business side of things. I'm Andy Stats, not Andy Business here. That was a terrible transition. My point is, though, the fan in me also thinks I'm glad the players are getting what they're worth from these owners, but man, we got to make sure we're still going to have football regularly, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because the rookie wage scale is slotted, and it's pretty much like where were you drafted, what position do you play, and which is why it makes it weird that it took them 3 months, because you're really just talking about incentives and things like that, little things on the fringes of the contract. But I think pressure bursts pipes, pressure gets things done. The training camp was starting today, so they're like, we have to get it done now. There wasn't a lot of incentive to worry about it before now, so I don't think it's a very big deal. If they went back to no rookie wage scale, and we used to see rookies hold out, and that was a big deal. That was frustrating. I think it runs a lot smoother now than it used to.
Here's the deal. Here's the big kicker. It is fully guaranteed. All $57 million will be going to Fernando Mendoza's pocket. Maybe in the state of Nevada, the state tax, not quite to the same degree that you have in California, for Pete's sake, but yeah, I think what's in my head still pretty fresh is the Deshaun Watson, guarantees that he was getting from Cleveland. A lot of franchises are very skeptical to do that again. We see even with Patrick Mahomes deals, it's not fully guaranteed, but hey, for a rookie here, he's getting all his dough.
They just guarantee Patrick Mahomes before each season. It's a mechanism to help with the cap hit, but yes, it's not fully guaranteed at the time of signing. But it's cost prohibitive to cut him, so it might as well be.
And with the Deshaun Watson one, you understand, well, I don't know if I understand it from the Browns' perspective, but from Watson's point of view, okay, well, I'm back after kind of this disgraceful exit from the league momentarily, and the Browns were just so desperate for a quarterback that they made that happen. Fernando Mendoza, I'm impressed that he was able to pull the same leverage. It's nowhere near the amount of money that Watson's getting fully guaranteed, and I know he's a number 1 overall pick and just came off a Heisman winning season with IU, but I don't know. I think this is hopefully a good sign of things to come rather than a bad sign. I know Ty Simpson, I think, still has to sign with the Rams, even though he was picked later on, 13 or 14 by them.
Yeah, and I think they'll sign him now. Everybody was waiting on Mendoza. Not everybody, but the other quarterbacks were waiting on Mendoza to finish signing. So I think the Ty Simpson contract will get done pretty quickly here.
You'd hope so. Yeah, it's an interesting time for the crossover of sports and business. Not just in college sports where we have NIL debates every other day here on Talk talk sports radio, but it's a new era when it comes to these, billion and nearly $1 trillion TV deals these leagues are signing, and I think players are starting to get a little more wary of that and say, hey, I know we're getting paid a lot already, but I still want my fair share. You can't operate without my services, especially if you're playing quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders.
He is Andy Stats, part of the KGSO, part of the Mid-America Sports Network team. He'll be live here very shortly on 1480 KQAM with the NBC kickoff game. Really the first pitch of the entire tournament. You got Lone Star Baseball Club and the Hutchinson Monarchs beginning pool play. Pool play this weekend. Any final touches from what you're seeing with warm-ups? I know you got to get ready to fill out your scorecard.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful day. There's a nice breeze blowing the flag in right center field from it's coming out from right, so hopefully we'll still see some balls travel over the fence. If you had to ask my pick in today's game, well, Hutchinson's the defending champions. Let's go with the Monarchs.
All right, Andy Stats, the numbers guy, joining us here, a segment for the Press Box on KGSO. Andy, best of luck in your first call with the NBC.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for having me on. I will talk to you boys soon.
Thanks,
Absolutely.
Andy.
All right, we'll step aside. We'll come back. Maybe talk a little bit about Lane Kiffin. He's in the news. Apparently, he's getting rid of social media. He regrets the messy departure from Ole Miss. Okay.
Yeah,
and the Red Sox, their streak has been broken. Tough.
Call the Press Box now on the Maximum Outdoor Equipment phone lines at 522-1410.
The Press Box on KGSO.
Want to hear more of KGSO? Don't forget to download our app today. Fill out weekly surveys, register to win great prizes, listen live, message our shows, and so much more. Plus, get reminders of special programming and games you don't want to miss. Just find SC Wichita in your app store and make KGSO your new favorite app. It's Wichita's Sports Talk, right on your phone. Download the SC Wichita app today with Wichita's Sports Station, KGSO.
Are you looking for a better healthcare experience this summer? Kingman Healthcare Center is a full-service hospital with a 24/7 emergency room with little to no wait times. Our clinics offer same-day appointments and convenient scheduling for your annual checkups. Don't wait. Make your health a top priority and schedule your appointment today. You won't regret the short drive without the big city traffic. Exceptional care every time. To learn more, visit our website, kingmanhc.com.
Temperatures may be climbing outside, but the prices are dropping in Rusty Eck Ford. Get $8,000 off MSRP on the 2026 Escape Hybrid. Buy for just $28,895. That's great gas mileage and pricing. The Escape Active is $6,200 off MSRP and starts as low as $27,975. Plus, these come with 2 years maintenance on us. Visit rustyeckford.com. Family owned for over 70 years and simply the best place to buy. See dealer for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's finally here, and we're kicking it off with a whole lot of free. Free brake pads with Duralast rotors. Free oil filter with 5 quarts of oil. Free Armor All wipes with Armor All glass cleaner, and more. More free, so you can have more summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
This is Stu Gatz and Company live.
The audience wants this.
You're listening to Stu Gatz and Company live.
If Tahoe Week was a college quarterback, you have the exact college quarterback that Tahoe Week would be. Can I guess?
Yeah.
Brendan Swordsby.
No.
Okay.
People are gambling this week?
I mean, yeah.
I think there's only one answer.
Yeah.
It's Brady Quinn.
Stu Gatz and Company live.
Stu Gatz and Company, weekdays at 2 p.m. on KGSO and on the SC Wichita app.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
We enjoy rivalries. We enjoy dynasties. And we need it. And I think the idea that, oh, yeah, everybody needs to win. Everybody ain't going to win. When you have rivals, when you have teams that are great, when you had Warriors, Cavs, and I knew I was getting ready to see LeBron, these things to me make it great.
This is The Odd Couple with Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington.
Evenings on KGSO. And find KGSO on the SC Wichita app. Want more sports talk? Find more about your favorite shows and hosts at KGSO.com.
When you think this show is terrible, something wonderful happens.
What?
It ends.
The press box comes to a close, guys. We're excited for some TBT action tonight. It's not going to be the last time you hear me, Jay-Z, him, Sasha Bushka, our voices on the radio here on this station this evening, because the enchantment will fold to the Aftershocks tonight. And hear our call starting at 7:45 with pregame action. Gary Squires will join us there at Coke Arena. And as we always say, look, if you're heading on over to the game, make sure you got the SC Wichita app. Bring a pair of headphones. Put just one of them in, right or left ear, doesn't matter. Download the SC Wichita app. Listen to us as you'll hear our commentary pretty much right as you're seeing the action unfold in front of you on the floor. So, a couple other stories to hit on. We'll go rapid fire here with this. Let's start in college football with Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin, give me a break, man. I don't think anyone in the state of Mississippi wants to hear you say, oh, man, I regret my messy exit with Ole Miss amid the college football playoff, jumping ship to LSU. Kind of a little disrespectful to those fans and those players, man. I don't know. I think Trinidad Chambliss, maybe he didn't like to see that. Lane Kiffin was also coming out and saying that his son has convinced him. Maybe it was his daughter. I don't know. Has convinced him to get off social media. And look, Lane, you were rumored time and time again to be messaging college-age girls. I think this is a win all around for Lane Kiffin in that department. But, hey, the regrets, I don't think anyone wants to hear these statements right now. It's a little too late. And after you pull that move, I don't know if there's ever going to be a chance where Ole Miss forgives you.
Yeah, there's no reason to say it, right? Like, you're at LSU now. Nobody in Ole Miss is going to, care what you say now. Is a bad exit, but you wanted to be at LSU, so why come out and say this now? It's kind of like earlier today I heard, Giannis said he'd one day wouldn't mind ending his career in Milwaukee. Well, you haven't even played a game for the Heat yet. Don't talk about where you're going to end your career. Focus on the next thing with the Heat. Lane Kiffin should be focused on LSU at this point.
Speaking of focus, I don't know if Jake Paul's focused on anything. Apparently now he's focused on a pipe dream with the NFL. He wants to be an NFL wide receiver. And look, Jake Paul maybe is a little underrated when it comes to being a boxer, right? If you're rich, if you've taken some gear, if you know what I mean, if you're able to hire, some pro boxing trainers, you could maybe whip up on some past their prime guys. And let's face it, a lot of guys in the heavyweight divisions of boxing aren't that talented. But Jake Paul trying to make it to the NFL as a wide receiver.
Yeah.
When you are, how old is Jake Paul, man? The problem child. The problem child is 29 years old. Jake Paul, that's past a wide receiver's prime in the NFL. Good luck. Good luck.
I'll take things that'll never happen for 800, Alex, and I'll take guys who are so full of themselves they say delusional things for 1,000, and I'll take Jake Paul sucks for 600, and I'll get all three right, and I'll win Jeopardy.
Do you know what the sad part about this is, though? It kind of feels like, some of these NFL owners might be more worried about numbers and clicks.
Jake Paul's full of crap. Nobody has shown interest in this guy. I guarantee you, not one NFL team would come close to signing some idiot off the street who's never played football. I guarantee he's full of it.
It looks like my little paper for Taco Tico has been tossed away, but
13th
I still remember.
and Tyler, 35th and Rock, Augusta Newton, El Dorado.
It's the 2 for $5
Derby,
where it's all about the
taste. Get you a taco burger, beef Sancho, combo burrito, 2 for $5, mix and match, same two,
Look,
any two. It's going to be anyway you slice it. You should go to Taco Tico.
Who could have possibly returned to the studio today and just started throwing random things away that were important? Who could have possibly done that?
I was in the studio at one point, but I didn't do it.
Man, I wonder who returned today to their show, and it's going to be gone for some time.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Absolutely no idea. Devin, you're trying to promote your shirts in the parking lot. There you go. There's your plug. You better have our shirts, Dev. We want to wear them calling the Aftershocks games.
Good show today.
Good show. Broncos comprehensive coverage. TBT breakdown. Maybe JHX Hoops is coming to Coke Arena next week. Not Purple Rain.
We'll see. It's going to be one or the other.
What are we, like, if you had to set a line for tonight for the Aftershocks, minus 5,000?
Minus $1 million.
Let's go. Minus $2 million.
Yeah.
The grand prize of the TBT.
The NBC Baseball World Series is back, and your home for all the primetime games is right here on Wichita's sports station, KGSO. From the first pitch to the championship game, KGSO is your home for all your favorite